Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Now, one of the things that we're all aware of is the massive delay to Operation BranchForm. It's been going for a couple of years now, and we still seem to be nowhere near the end. They keep making minor announcements, or sometimes major ones, but no point ever do they say that they'll be bringing the whole thing to a close soon and presenting the information. It seems to be rather open-ended. I think they're maybe trying to just hang it out until eventually people say, do you know what, it's cost too much money, let's not push this anymore, and then let's just drop it. So that those who may or may not have done some awful things get away with it, from thievery and embezzlement and that sort of thing. That must not be allowed to happen. Now, the lawyers who are actually calling for this investigation to continue are saying that the lack of action is creating fears of a cover-up. And of course, that's what we've been saying for a long time now. The last thing we want is for this to go away, to be covered up, to be smothered, and basically to time out in terms of not coming to any kind of conclusion. So we'll take a look at this, see what's going on, and see why it is just literally taking far too long. Here goes. Now, before we get into it, I would like to say, if anyone hasn't yet subscribed, please do so. We're a political channel, and the algorithm pushes us down. So if you're one of the regular viewers yet to subscribe, now would be an excellent time. It really does make a massive difference to the channel. Also, like the video. And if you're not one of our regular viewers, do please consider becoming one of our regular viewers, and also hit the subscribe button. Thank you. Now, one of the reasons I think that this is taking a long time and that there's so many delays is, of course, it's being investigated by Police Scotland. An organisation that is very much, according to most people, in the pocket of the SNP. Certainly the people that are responsible for Police Scotland are members of the SNP cabinet, and the independence of the judiciary of Scotland is also in question since Dorothy Bain, who allegedly is in charge of justice, also sits on the cabinet. It very much is the SNP marking their own homework. This investigation should have been given to an outside force, just to chivvy things along. A force over whom, of course, the SNP have no control whatsoever. I'm not going to say anything about Ian Livingstone, but he did seem to be very, very pally with the regime. But they've got a new one now, and of course she's only 2 weeks into the job, and she's proven to be a bit dodgy, stealing resources from the public purse for her own personal benefit. So, seems typically SNP to me, so I don't think there'll be much of a change of policy. But we'll have a look at this anyway. Operation BranchForm. Lawyers warn the lack of action creates cover-up fears. The ongoing investigation into the SNP finances has worried lawyers, who say the time taken to inform the public has cast an unfavourable light on the investigative process. Of course it has. They should have done this a lot quicker. They should have got everything done, handed it over to forensic accountants and said, look, just get on with it, break it down and just do it. And certainly they should never have arrested the people as they did. 1, and then a week later 2, and then 3 months later 3. They should have arrested 4 or 5 people all at once, had them in the same police station, asking them the same questions at the same time, looking at their answers. And if the answers don't match, going in and finding out why. Basic police procedure. You don't ask questions, release, then go back and ask someone else the same questions weeks or months later. It gives them time to get their story straight, and it gives them time to hide evidence, of course. Anyway, the longer officials take to act on the investigation of the SNP finances, the greater the perception of a cover-up, according to a group of senior lawyers. Kevin Drummond Casey and Douglas Cuisine, or Cuisine, I don't know how you pronounce that, both former sheriffs, said there were questions for the Crown Office and Procurator Fiscal Service over the protracted period of time taken by the probe. Police officers have already been accused of being very slow to act in terms of the investigation, and so far lasted 2.5 years. In July 2021, Operation BranchForm was launched following allegations that £660,000 raised by the SNP with the purpose of funding the IndyRef2 was spent on other things. Just shows the receipts. There's the money, it's gone in, you said it's ring-fenced. There's the money, where's it gone? That's it. If you can't provide receipts, then it's fraud. It's as simple as that. If the money isn't where you say it is, and it isn't there in the £660,000, and you spend it on other things, that is fraud. Do them all. Do every one of them. Put them all in jail for thievery. Anyway, since then, the SNP's former leader Nicola Sturgeon, her husband and former SNP Chief Executive Peter Murrell, and the former SNP Treasurer Colin Beattie have all been arrested, questioned and released. So far, Oswald hasn't, and nobody knows why. That is a big mystery too. Mr Drummond and Mr Cousine, who are part of a group of senior lawyers called Quis, told The Times that they believe the delay was likely because of prosecutors rather than detectives. Said the Crown is likely to have been kept up to date with the nature of the inquiry, and if that is correct, it can only be conjectured that either the Crown has instructed further investigation of elements of the report, or that the delay is not on the part of the police, but on the part of the Crown, and the Crown sits in the SNP cabinet. Which do you think is more likely? Why do you think it's being delayed when Dorothy Bain sits in cabinet? Well, I think we can work out the answer for ourselves. Anyway, either way, they say, the public has a right to be informed about a matter which is of such national significance. The lawyers said the continuing delay in the apparent progress casts an unfavourable light on the investigative process. They added, in the absence of any explanation by Police Scotland or the Crown Office, the delay in such a high-profile case is capable of stimulating perceptions of cover-up. But not really, because we've said from day one that this has all the hallmarks of a cover-up. We just knew, because the police are in the pocket of the SNP. All the control, all the players are all there in the cabinet. Nobody is independent. Nobody is free from suspicion, which is why it should have been, the investigation should have been done by, say, Greater Manchester Police or, East Midlands Police, whoever. Somebody that wasn't Police Scotland. A Crown Office spokesperson said police had not yet submitted a report. They added senior professional prosecutors from COPFS and an advocate deputy are working with the police on this ongoing investigation. It is standard practice, they say, that any case regarding politicians is dealt with by prosecutors without the involvement of the law officers. And if you believe that, I've got a camper van to sell you. All Scotland's prosecutors act independently of political interference. If you believe that, etc. The duration of any investigation will vary depending on the individual circumstances. As is routine to protect the integrity of ongoing investigations, we do not comment in detail on their conduct. We're not asking for details, we're asking for a broad statement around it. How close are you? Nobody wants to say, because they want it to just disappear and evaporate into the ether, so that nobody dare ever question what is going on, where the money is, who spent it, who's had it. They don't want the frauds to come out. They don't want the embezzlement to come out. They don't want any of it to come out, because they all know that if it does, they're going to jail. And boy, do they need to go. Anyway, I shall round off there. We'll come up and we will finish the video. Once we saw those arrests take place, we all assumed naturally that everything was moving towards some kind of denouement, some kind of final pushing together. And then there was nothing. And then she was arrested. And you thought, that's it. That must be the final cog. And then there's nothing. Why? Why continually nothing? Unless they are trying to quite literally cover this up and let it evaporate, let it go away. They don't want it becoming an issue, because they know that it isn't just Cranky and Murrell that are going to jail. It isn't just Colin Beattie who's going to jail. There'll be many, many more of them. They're all in on it. They all want to protect themselves, because they all know that they're all vulnerable. They don't want the truth coming out, because the truth damages the SNP. Thieves, a lot of them. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this has, well, it won't have pleased you, because they haven't arrested anyone else and they haven't brought it to a head. But at least you're aware of what's going on. Anyway, till next time, stay safe, stay well, and I will speak to you later. Goodbye.